So I'm going along and I'm recording part one and just making my way. Everything's going well. And then I look down and in StreamYard and I see that I'm on mute. And I'm like furious because I actually recorded about an hour. So bad. I recorded about an hour on the auctions tonight before realizing it. Major technical difficulties. I know you guys don't probably care about any of that, but I was like pulling my hair out. I can't believe I did that. But I still want to go through all these things today. Drop part one already. This part two is now just going to be the items that are ending tonight and throughout this week. Today is August 25th. And so just for the next 7 days. And we're going to start out right now with MC Sports Cards. MC Sports Cards ends tonight. And again, I've already reviewed all these items, so I should be able to take you through them a little bit faster than normal. One thing you're going to notice as we go through is that there's a lot of 52 tops. Somebody is selling a high level, high grade group of 52 tops one at a time using MC Sports Cards. I'm going to highlight about 10 cards on here that I want to hit individually, but just sort of scroll through until we see them. I want to talk about this co-signers card right here. I think it's so cool. I want to talk about this Mahomes card. Huge Brady rookie right here. El Messi Prism Copa America. Number 1 of 10 gold prism. That's obviously very cool. This is not high grade. This is a 52 tops, but not a high grade copy of that card. PSA 4. The 2005 Ultimate Collection with the former 2 number 1 overall picks and LeBron and Dwight Howard. Extra points to anybody who knows who the number 1 overall pick is in 2005 off the top of their head. I'm a bit of a draft snob. That is Andrew Bogut. Go Utes, the former running Ute. So that's a very cool card. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, dual flawless, game used tag. Again, flawless and NBA always equals game used. Always. There are 2 Kobe Bryant Spectra cards up this week. One of the cards has an autograph. And I should clarify. There are 2 Spectra Kobe Bryant autographs at MC Sports Cards. This portion of the show, as you can see up in the corner here, up in the top left, is the MC Sports Card portion of the show. This Kobe is on card. The other Kobe that's up is not on card. So it'll be interesting tonight to see the comparison of those 2. A Luka 2018 Opulence, so that means it's a rookie card, on card autograph. I'm 99% sure that's on card. I think all Opulence cards are on card. You know what? Let's look at it, make sure. I want to highlight about 10 different cards individually, and then and we'll look at each of them one at a time. The Air McNair Ultra Platinum, a very early 1 of 1 for Steve McNair. Great card. The Luka Doncic 1 of 10 Prism Gold. I want to talk about the math on that I think is really interesting. Stephon Marbury, the Rubies, numbered to 45. Case looks like it might be a little rough. Maybe I'm wrong, actually. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll take a closer look at that. The Mookie Blaylock, that'll be a fun would you rather tonight. What do you think is going to sell for more, the Mookie Blaylock or the Stephon Marbury? I think usually you'd say Stephon Marbury, right? But obviously those are 2 different sets. This card right here I love. Definitely one of my favorite cards of the night. Cards of the night MC. Another Giant Topps Dynasty. We've got 2 of those up. Definitely want to look at this Hank Aaron. And I think that's about it. Let's see if there's maybe one more on here. Oh, yeah, the dual logo man of T-Mac and Steve Francis. We covered that one a little bit last week, and then we'll finish it off with the Jordan Refractor, about 10 or 12 items there that we want to look at individually. So the thing that stood out to me about this, so this card's serial number 1 of 5. Very, very cool. Co-signers started in 1997 Stadium Club. It's actually where you get the very first NBA licensed Kobe Bryant autographs. He signed cards along with, I think, Joe Smith, John Starks, and Karl Malone, something like that. Anyway, the reason that I mentioned those, 1997, the co-signers were signed on opposite sides. So both sides of the card were signed. And after that point, from what I've been able to see, and I haven't done like a thorough study, but both usually, I believe since then, the autographs have been on the same side. But for whatever reason, in 2019, they did it different. They did it how they did it the first year. And so you've got Koufax on the back, Koufax, for those of you who would like to know these things, Koufax is still with us. I think he's about 90 years old. Hank Aaron, obviously, passed away a few years ago. And two of the most beloved baseball players of all time. Both of them are on this card. The other thing that really stands out is whenever you have a card that's being signed by multiple people, you always are going to look at the grade and say, how did that card hold up through all of those processes? Well, in this case, it held up amazingly well, despite the fact that both sides are being signed, meaning that, of course, both sides had to lay flat to be signed. The card graded a 10. So I love that card. If you're a vintage baseball, if you're a fan of the history of the game and the greatest players of the game and their signatures, Sandy Koufax is an all-timer signature, guys, especially. That's a very great looking piece. This Mahomes right here was interesting to me because when I looked at it, I had to look to see who it was. Usually Mahomes, you know who it is right off, but because he's featured here in his Texas Tech uniform, obviously with the black autograph, I just sort of went, wait, is that Mahomes? Oh, it is. It's got the RC logo, but it is a college card, and you'll see it doesn't have the NFL shield or logo on the back, meaning that it's not authenticated by the NFL. It is licensed is the word I was looking for there. It is licensed by the NFL Players Association. It is not licensed by the NFL. It is from 2017, and the patch is player worn. So it has a lot going for it. What it doesn't have going for it is a lot of people, I think, want to see him in his pro uniform, but you'd be paying a vast multiple greater to get this card in a with him in his NFL uniform. So that's worth thinking about. Reminder, today I will be finding the 5 stories that I think are the best stories throughout all of the auctions, and those will become the top 5, and that's what we'll be doing here at the end after we go through all the different auction houses. So the Luka is number 7 of 10, which is pretty neat. He's number 77, and I know that's not the same as 7, but if you're going to have a card that's low numbered, you're never going to get his jersey number. And I would think that 7 would probably be, 7 and 1 would probably be the 2 serial numbers that would be the most interesting to people when the card isn't numbered as high as 77. That autograph is on card, and it is really nice looking. It does have the rookie logo. I really like that card a lot, especially at the price point. This Ichiro is one of my favorite cards of the week. My friend on Instagram mentioned this is Ichiro's. This hologram right here is Ichiro's authentication sticker, which means, and this is really interesting, the Ichiro sort of authenticating that this jersey was his jersey, and then that piece got put onto this card. You can see on the back of the card that it indicates that it's from Ichiro, but that it doesn't have a specific game that it was used in. That's pretty normal. It's actually probably the second best language that you can get on a card. The only thing that would be better than this, in my opinion, is if it told you what game it was from. But if you look at the front, great looking autograph, obviously still encapsulated in the Topps Dynasty holder. The patch is great. What I sort of like about it, and it reminds me of my favorite autograph patch set ever, which is the 2004 limited logo set. Favorite set aesthetically, I should say. It's just like it, except for it's tilted on its side. I really do. I love it. I think it's fantastic. There's a Judge coming up that's also cool, but I like this Ichiro even more than the Judge. One for Aaron McNair, 2000 Ultra. He has several one-of-ones that come before this, but not like a huge number. 98 was the first year that you had one-of-one cards in football. And so, there's just not a lot of McNair one-of-ones that come before this one. It'll be interesting to see how this one does. Obviously tonight, one-of-ones like this have a very wide band. I don't know what McNair's ultra high-end collectors are like, so it's hard to know on something like that. But I like cards like this of people who are super well remembered, memorable masterpieces from important sets. You don't see stuff like this at auction very often. A comparable card like this in the world of the NBA is probably like a $10,000 to $15,000 card. Legitimately, it probably is. You don't even see commons in the NBA. It might even be more than what I just suggested. I don't know. I might be right. Might be wrong. Might be more or less. But it's a fun one to watch. So the math on the Luka is this. This is his 24-25 Prism gold, and I believe for what we know that means is that this is actually the final. I think this is the final year of Prism. I don't think there's any intention for Panini to get out another year of Prism before they lose their license here in a couple of months. I think. If I remember right, it's October 1st. I think is the day that Topps takes over. I don't think there's a plan to get another normal run of Prism out for 25, 26. It would be so cool if there was. But if my math's right there, if that assumption's correct, then we have a Luka card in 2018 and every year for regular Prism until this year, 2024, 25. That's 7 years. That means there's 70 true gold Luka Prism cards. There's 7 Luka Prism cards that are numbered 1 of 10. And it depends on what your perspective is on that. My perspective on it is somebody who watches high-end collectors, how they like what their preferences are. Sounds super hypey, but I think you'll get where I'm going with it. There's this card checks a few boxes. For Luka, it's obviously, gold prisms are some of the most collected cards in the hobby. So it's that, obviously. And it's Prism, goes along with that. There are people who do sets of gold Prism cards, so it checks those boxes. The other box that checks, that I think is probably the one that you should think about the most, is the idea that there's a lot of player collectors that like to do runs of important types of cards. In the last week or so, we've seen a couple of different guys post their Kobe Gold Prism runs from 2012 Prism to 2019. And there were 6 different years that Kobe has gold prisms there. And that's it. There's 60 gold prism cards of Kobe Bryant in existence. Proud owner of one of them. But for Luka, it's going to be just a little bit more, 70. For guys like LeBron and Steph, they extend from 2012 all the way through 2024. And so that's 130 total prism cards. Still a fairly rare number when you compare that to, for example, the set that everyone compares everything to, the PMG reds and greens. There's 100 of those cards. There's actually more PMGs that were made in 1997 than there will be ever of the Prism Golds. So I would say consider that as you think about the Luka. And remember that you only have 10 from each year. Will people end up looking at each Luka like it's an important card? I don't know. I think that depends on probably who Luka ends up becoming. And we don't really know that yet, but we know that he's going to be a Hall of Famer and he's a great player and he's highly collected. But we know there's only 10 of each. And again, I think that matters. That card's probably my first one that could be a top 5 this week. I don't think it will be, but it could. This Marbury's interesting. It's a hard card to catch the imaging on. It does look to me almost like it's it's kind of dull, but it's one of those things where I think in person, to see the stars and the way that they move, the stars sort of increase and decrease in size just a little bit. I think that might be more impactful. But look, it is an 8. Marbury has recently had some very, very high-end sales. I don't know if you guys are aware of these. In fact, I'm just going to show you real quick, just so you know. I think they've all just been on eBay. So I'm just going to come into eBay and say Stephon Marbury, and then click on sold items. Wait till you guys see this. So this is like kind of crazy that all these cards have been listed. And there's not a huge number of them, but wait till you see what they've sold for. So a 98 EX Essential Credentials. This is this is number 3 of 4. $62,100. Also from Japan, the year prior, which is less rare, but the more iconic set, $42,000. Then you get down to the year before and you have, whoa, this is interesting, isn't it? Wow. It looks like somebody back in July listed to buy it now. I didn't know this until right now, of both of the 97, and you can see what happened here. So somebody probably immediately hit that 10 grand because credentials out of 13 is a huge story. Somebody made a massive, massive mistake selling that for what they did, because look, it sold. Now, granted, the market was up between July 24th and August 17th, markedly up. Not up like this, though. Somebody way undersold that card that was already in its PSA holder. Oh, man, that just makes you feel sick. Stephon Marbury Molten Metal here, $7,300. Like there's some huge sales. Gosh, it was previously listed at 6,000. I don't know what was happening here. It was listed 3 different times. Hopefully that guy, I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but I can promise you this: people would die to buy that card for $6,000. Okay, anyway, so now you know some of the big Steph sales, and this one is to 45. So Will it be closer to that area that the Fusion was? I would think so. I probably would take the Fusion over this card. It's a year earlier. At that point, it's kind of the GOAT insert. This is like a secondary Rubies card, but it's still a premier Stephon Marbury card. It's a premier card, number 45. Okay. A card that I think will probably sell for more than the Marbury is this Mookie Blaylock. PSA 7 on this set's really pretty strong. I can't remember seeing a Mookie. And the fact that I'm even thinking like that sort of indicates to me that maybe the commons in this set occupy a spot in my mind that's a little bit different than it used to be. I think what I mean by that is I think that it's more collected than it was, to the point where like a Mookie Blaylock is a known card. We saw over the weekend a really big sell. PMG Red was a PSA 7 as well. It was Rod Strickland, and I think it did like $25,000. This is the same type of card as that in my view. In my view, it is. Now, I do think that the Reds are probably a harder or probably lower average grade. So there's a grade premium there that's not here. But like Mookie Blaylock and Rod Strickland are sort of in the same band. A Red and the Champ, I think, are sort of in the same band. This is not as high of a grade, but it's an interesting one to watch tonight. It's one that I put as the header of my top 10 this week on my Instagram, and it's for that reason that I did that. This quad here is super interesting because it's the first 4 picks in the 2018 draft. Isn't it amazing that Luka was drafted after those two guys? Man, if there's one thing we've learned in the last few years, it's that if there's a big guy, unless that big guy is like, gosh, I don't even know, almost no matter what, you just have to take the guard or wing player ahead of the big guy, almost no matter what. This would have made more sense if it was totally reversed. If you put Jaren Jackson Jr. first ahead of Luka, that would make a whole lot more sense than these other two guys. But still, very, very cool card. So Aaron Judge Dynasty, also numbered out of 5, like the Ichiro was. So this is awesome. Let's see what it says. It says it is from an MLB game from the featured athlete, but not necessarily from a specific game. So this Judge autograph is on card. The patch is from a game that he wore. He wore this piece on his jersey. We just don't know what game. And numbered 2 out of 5. Great looking Yankees card. Yankees ball cap, big and bold, huge bold autograph. Great hollow foil around the patch. Looks like an exquisite card of yesteryear for sure. And I love the design throughout here. I love it. They knocked this set out of the park. It is gorgeous. I love the Hank Aaron card right here. It's from 1956. It's an oversized card, but what I really love about it is the process that it went through to become what it is today. So the card was produced in 1956 by Topps. Topps inserted it into a pack. Who knows where it went for the next 60 years? Somewhere around 58 years later, Topps then buys the card back. They have Hank autograph it. They stamp the card. You can see they stamp it right here, Topps Archives 2015. You can see they put a 1 of 1 on here. Just imagine for a moment if someone was able to do this with Fleer basketball. Just imagine for a moment if somebody was able to do this with 1961 Fleer basketball. And these cards were like purchased, the original copies, signed, stamped, put back in the packs. I'm telling you right now, it would be absolutely beloved. And I hope that Topps does the same thing when they take over in basketball for vintage issues. The problem is that most vintage Topps issues at this point, a lot of those guys are gone. You know, even into the 70s. This card was made in 56, but you get into the 70s, like who are the greatest players from the 70s? Most of those guys are gone now, unfortunately. So you obviously don't take these guys for granted, but also don't take for granted a great set like this. This idea takes a lot of work. It's a lot of effort, but I think it's worth it. And I think over the long haul, it'll be one of the more collected sets. The dual logo man of T-Mac and C. Francis here is a card that I told you about last week. I really love it because it's one of the first logo man cards. And the question that I asked on my Twitter today was, does this card reach 0.1% of what the duel of MJ and Kobe sold for this weekend? The duel MJ Kobe, as I talked about in part 1, sold for almost $13 million. So for this to sell for 0.1%, it has to reach 13 grand. I don't think it'll make it, but I don't think it's outlandish either. It's such an early logo, man. There are issues. Fleer had issues with at the bankruptcy with some cards like this, and I think that introduces in collectors' minds some nervousness around whether the card was actually pack pulled or not. And I think that's probably a good thing to be nervous about. I would look at the pop reports, not just for this card, but like adjacent sets. I should say sets that are from the same years. But 04, early logo, man, if you can get that concern, any of those concerns resolved, then this becomes a really neat piece. These two guys were traded for each other. I believe it was Steve Francis's second or third year where he was traded from Houston to Orlando. And I think that's so cool. T-Mac, one of the all-time greats who we don't talk about, one of the most gifted offensive players of all time. That might be a top 5 card this week. I'm going to put that over here. We're going to hit the last couple items real fast. The Michael Jordan Finest Refractor from his second year of Finest, from his 10th year in the league. You don't see a lot of PSA 10s. You might see 1 or 2 a year, maybe 3 a year, but just not very many. This one, pop 40 card that's already at $9,100. We'll see how it finishes tonight. I've always thought that Jordan refractors are undervalued. It's good to see them getting some love, but no idea what it sells for tonight. It absolutely has a chance at my top 5 this week. Now we'll move to one of my favorite items of the week for sure, and it's a redemption card. See this Tim Duncan right here on top says National Treasures personalized on card inscribed auto exchange. So this is a redemption card. We don't know. We know it's Tim Duncan. We know it's 1 of 1, and we know that it's supposed to be inscribed. Question number 1. Will it definitely be inscribed? We don't know. We think so, though. Panini sort of promised that it will be. It says it on the card. And if they were to send one that wasn't, I think that's something that you could take umbrage with and say, hey, you need to send me something else. I think you'd have a fair case in that situation. So I think that it's probably going to be inscribed. Assuming that it is, what do you want Tim Duncan inscribing on this card? Is it the big fundamental? Is it 5 times champs? What is it? The greatest power forward of all time. I don't know what he inscribes, but it's fun to think about that. And it's fun to think about what that would mean to its value. And I have no idea how to opine on that, but I think it's interesting. The net assets Jordan is one of the most intricate die cuts of all time. The Kobe autograph from 2003, SP Authentic's really cool. The classic Kobe signature. Bub Carrington, NTRPA. And I love this Noise Boys Shaq right here. PSA 9 on that's really, really a strong grade. All right, now we're going to spend the most of the episode today talking about the Premier Auction, for sure. As always, I want to remind you guys, my very good friend Jeremy Lee has a show here on YouTube. In fact, you should stop watching this right now and go check out his show. His show is awesome. He talks to some of the best guests around. He does several shows a week. I don't know how he does as much as he does. He creates so much content. And he and I do a show together every Thursday night. And it's the Fanatics Collect Premier Auction live watch party. We will watch the end of this auction together. And as we do that, it's so much fun because we get to find out what the biggest cards are going to sell for. Tonight I want to do just a little preview of that. Or not tonight, but today I want to do a little preview of that. I'm going to take the next 20 minutes or so and just really walk through all of the base cards that are ending here at Fanatics Collect. So I'm going to do, there's 48 on each page, and I'm just going to refresh real fast. This is sorted by highest first. I may not take 20. I may take a few less minutes than 20 just because I have some other stuff that I've got to get out today. But I want to take a few minutes to sort of start looking at the biggest cards that are up this week. We won't go through everything because there's just too many, but make sure you spend some good time doing it because especially if this is the sort of stuff that you're interested in. It's a huge auction this week. Starting out is the card that I will personally argue is the best Caitlin Clark card in the world. It would be between this and, gosh, Panini made it really tough for us, guys, because with Panini, you're going to say, well, I want either the best Logo Man autograph, or in the case of WNBA, Logo Woman autograph, or I want the best Prism Black, or Prism 1 of 1 card. But the problem is the Prism stuff is really convoluted because not only are there 2 parallels that people sort of argue might be better, the black finite versus the gold vinyl. There's also two versions of the card. And so it's sort of, and I hate saying this, but it's just true for me. It sort of has created a mess for me in terms of like how I think about which card is her best card. I don't like it when there's a close second. I don't like it when there's a debate. And in the case of the Logo Woman, there's three different options. What I can say definitively, and this is why I would say I personally think this is the best Caitlin Clark card in the world, is that none of the three are game used. They're all, you can read the back of them. None of them are like guaranteed to even be associated with Clark. So they're all the same in that way. Then there's, each of them have an inscription. One of them has her total points from her first year. One of them says Rookie of the Year. And then there's this one. Those other ones are great. Those other brands are great. Their other images are great. But I like this one because it says 2024 number 1 overall pick. And that sort of is something that you would write being your rookie season. I think it's also important to realize that there's a legacy across football and across basketball that an NT Logoman RPA is always the most valuable. I don't see any reason in this case that that wouldn't be the same. But we'll see this week whether that's true. We saw a huge sale on these three on a PSA 10 card and a buy it now. It was from REA. They had a buy it now months ago, not that long ago, but now here we have this one that's at auction. Go take a look to see what that buy it now sold for. We just don't see the cards sell very often. You have to wonder, does this one reach what that one reached? Does it go higher? I still think this is either the second or the third most iconic basketball card of all time. And the pop 10 or the pop count of the PSA 10s is really low, and that's how a lot of people collect. And so every time it comes to auction, it's a big deal. The story on this Mahomes here, I'd say a couple things. Number one, it's the RPA from the world of football. Everybody knows that. But what makes this copy different is it's a 10-10, which makes it 1 of 5, and it's a 3-color. I don't know what the patches look like on the other ones, but they all have 10 autographs. So really the differentiator is the patch. Go see if you can do some research. If you're interested in this card, do some research to figure out how many of those 5 have 3-color patches versus 2. There's a lot of these that are just 2-color patches, like a lot of them. So definitely look at that. My friend Nick, the Wharf on, he does consignment work, and you've seen him all over Instagram. I'm sure most of you guys know him. He does a lot of interesting content where he'll ask questions, and he asked one this week that I thought was a really good one. He said something like, "Are we sure basketball is king?" when referring to the green PMGs. And he was pointing out, hey, this Barry Sanders is actually higher than this Tim Duncan is right now. Well, now they're the same price, but either way, they're obviously in the same band. Like they seem like they're around the same type of card. Let's just compare them real quick. I think you would make the case that Barry Sanders is one of the best running backs of all time. You would certainly make the case that Tim Duncan is amongst the best power forwards of all time. Frankly, if you call him a power forward, it's kind of hard to say he's not the greatest power forward of all time. I think he's a center. He played more minutes at center, despite the fact that he started at power forward and he made all-star games as power forward. Defensively, he always just screamed center to me. And that doesn't actually matter, though. What does matter is there's 10 of the Duncan and there's 15 of the Barry. So advantage Duncan there. I think advantage basketball over football for the Duncan as well. But there are some things that I think favor the Barry. Barry is a more interesting person, a more interesting athlete. His highlights are more interesting, and those things matter. Barry has more of a cult following at this point. Not that Duncan doesn't have a real following. I know several people who really want this card, and this is, for a lot of people say that's the best Tim Duncan card in the world. I do think you can't look past the grade here, though. A PSA 8 on the Barry is not just a little bit better, it's a lot better than the BGS 8 on the Duncan. The Duncan also, we know this exact copy moved at the Sotheby's auction not that long ago. We're talking about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. I don't think it was that long ago, though. How does that, what happens now? And nobody knows. But when you have a big card like that moves within a couple years, sometimes that's not the best thing. For me, it maybe presents, if that's a card that you're interested in, it maybe presents a buying opportunity. Why? Collectors do not like to see grail items sell in multiple times within a few years. you'd like to see it go a couple of years without being relisted. Personally, I would, at least. As a buyer, I like seeing it sell real quick. 6.5 on the mantle is obviously a big deal. Maybe my favorite card in the whole auction, though, is this Kobe Bryant. I saw this specific card in hand at the National. Was at dinner with a friend. He had the cards all in a big stack. That giant stack, he just sort of let me look through, and he had, it was several $1 million worth of cards. This Kobe was in the stack, and I stopped at it, and I went through and I looked at the rest of it. I pushed the cards back to him, and I said, which of those cards do you think is my favorite? And he knew. It's the Kobe. Why is it the Kobe? Well, it just has so much going for it. It's the holofoil. I should look at some of these. I'm gonna start individually clicking on a few of them, and I'm gonna come to this one, this Kobe one, in just a sec. Actually, while we're here talking about it, let's just click on it. So the Kobe is, if you can't see it super well from a flat scan like this, all of the lettering behind, all of it is holofoil. The serial number is not in holofoil, but the rest of it is. The patch windows, holofoil. It's all holofoil, all the lines, lettering, and all that stuff. It really stands out on a card, guys. I know I always talk about holofoil, and you guys are like, Adam's yapping about the holofoil again. In hand, it enhances the card in a way that is almost like you can't even describe how much nicer it is. It is so much nicer. You add to it that the Laker logo off of the laundry tag is the centerpiece, and that the autograph looks exactly like you want to. And it's about, like, it's a very unique Kobe card. Is it a Logoman autograph? No. The tag is from the laundry tag. It's not visible. It's not part of the jersey that you see all the time. Is it the championship tag? No, it's not. To me, those are easily the 1 and 2 best parts off of the jersey. Number 3 is where the argument really begins. Would you rather have this or the NBA logo off of the laundry tag? I will tell you this, as somebody who owns a Kobe Bryant laundry tag autograph from Noir, the first year of Noir, I think this is cooler than the Logoman tag is. I really do. They're both from the same laundry tag, and this is different. It's team specific. How many Kobe Laker cards do you see like that? I just think this is a lot cooler. And I think the market does too. Look at the price. If this was a Logoman tag, numbered 1 of 1, I don't think it's at 140 grand already, guys. I don't. So I love this piece. This, I think, will probably be on my top 5 of the week. I really do. I actually think I want to come back up here real quick. I'm in the wrong spot. Sorry, guys. I want to come back up here again and also choose the Duncan, because that might hit my top 5 as well this week. I thought about the Barry. Gosh, Barry. I don't know. One of those I got to put on. I don't want to put both of them on there, though. Obviously, some other really huge pieces. The Jaden Daniels is interesting from the perspective that we know what the black sold for. It was one of the most public, several $100,000 buys of all time. With how the market has risen so quick, I wonder if they're going to end up regretting that sale of $500,000, though. Jaden is so popular, and that really is probably his best card in existence. Either that or his NT Shield RPA. The PSA 10 on the Ronaldo card, a card that I think a lot of people would agree is the second most iconic soccer card of all time. If not number 2, then probably number 3. The card did not make the 25 and 25 list, which was a ranking, if you're not familiar with it, is a ranking of the 25 most iconic cards of the 2000s as voted by the community. But with that said, it didn't finish too far off. I think it finished like 31 or 32. It was on my list. I thought it should be on the 25 and 25 list, and a lot of people agreed, but a lot of people didn't. And seeing it in a PSA 10 is always a big, big deal. All right, we're going to go through 2 full pages of this. So I need to move it a little bit faster. This Brady is interesting to me from the perspective that this is a really early SGC holder. That card's been in that case for probably 20 years, like a really long time. And so you always have to wonder on a card like that, could that cross? If you cracked it out, could it get into a PSA 10 holder? Or would it be a PSA 9? And there's a chance that a PSA 9, I wonder what a PSA 9 of this card sells for right now. That'd be interesting to see. Trevor Lawrence's best card in existence, the NT Shield RPA. We were just talking about that a minute ago. Big time Shohei, numbered out of 25. This is the Topps Chrome orange. If it was the Bowman Chrome orange, it would have the same signature. It would also be numbered out of 25. and it would sell for way, way, way more. Can you imagine a card like that in a black label? The black label right here does a lot of lifting. It is a big part of why the card will sell for what it sells for. And it'll be a really interesting one to watch tonight. And there's still a lot of people who love those really rare Beckett holders. Remember I was saying that on the Mahomes, a lot of them are two colors. This one looks like it might just have a third bit of white in there, but a lot of them are just two colors. Big time Kobe. I sold my copy of this card, which is a BGS 9.5, not that long ago. This one is superior, though, because it's not only is it a PSA 10, it's the number 23 out of 50. And I've always said this about this card. What makes this card great is the players on it. It's the photography. It's the year. It's everything about it. Part of it's because of LeBron. You might not like LeBron, but you like this card because it's got Kobe and LeBron on it. That's how everybody is. This is the only Kobe card that made the 25 and 25 list, and it's easy to see why. It's because of that photography. And the card's serial number here is number 23 out of 50. LeBron wears number 23 in this card. It's not, it's not as cool as if it was Kobe's jersey number. I'd probably still take the 1 of 50 above it, but after that, that might be the next best one. We have to look really closely at this Brady here because it's in an authentic holder, and I believe I've seen it before. This Jordan actually sold in the last year. It's really surprising to see another copy or maybe the same copy listed again, but that is a really unique card. Chronology had a variation of this card numbered to 25. Gosh, did they have one that was to 50? I think they have one to 50, but I don't know if Jordan's in the 50 set. They have one that's to 25. They have one that's to 5, and they have one that's to 1. I don't think I've ever seen any of them that are numbered to 1. I really don't. The number to 5s all have UD in the window, and that's hilarious. The Michael Jordan signature here is great. The spot for it is great. It's maybe not as long as you want it to be, but other than exquisite, you could really make the case that this is about as high level of a set that Upper Deck ever produced. The kanji Shohei is always a big deal, even when it's gaudy. There's probably some versions of this card that you'd rather have, but there just aren't very many kanji early Shohei autographs. One of my favorite cards of the auction, without question, is this Steph 10-10. This is the exquisite, what should have been RPA, but they didn't have patches at the time. In fact, the word Warriors doesn't even show up on this card because I don't believe the Upper Deck knew where he would be drafted when they were printing the card. They had to get the boxes out, and so they had to produce the cards ASAP. And they basically had to sort of guess on the draft who deserved to be in the set and who didn't deserve to be in the set. Fortunately, they put Steph in. The weirdest part, Exquisite always would take the player's regular rookie and then parallel it to the player's jersey number. Steph's jersey number is 30. This card, there's two Stephs in the base set. One of them is serial numbered to 30 on the parallel, and one of them is serial numbered to 31. Why? No one really knows. My guess is that they had an extra copy. They had to serial number them afterwards for some reason. He's one of the only guys in the set that does this, but it makes absolutely no sense. I'm not sure. Big time exquisite piece right here. The number pieces, number to 23 from 06. Really a stunning card in hand. An authentic Michael Jordan XRC or Star 101 card, whatever you want to call it. The question is why? Oh, it's authentic. It's an autograph. We have to look at that card. We must. A Michael Jordan Limited logos. Kobe Bryant from the exclusives box. This Kobe Bryant right here, super interesting. We're going to highlight that one and show you guys that one. I actually want to, I've maybe talked about the exclusive boxes before, but I do want to tell you guys a little bit more about that. A Shea RPA, big time Intimidation Nation. This is a huge card. I almost skipped past it. That is a huge Jordan card right here. I would suspect that we see a record. I think this will be the most expensive Intimidation Nation we've ever seen sell. I want to look at this Jordan. You've probably heard about this gold Caitlin Clark, the gold Kaboom. One of her biggest cards for certain. The Kobe Bryant limited logos here. Great looking card from 2006. Great looking autograph. Autographs graded a 10. Oh, man. Don't you love this Jerry Rice? Numbered 50 of 50. Is this a checklist or is this his regular card? I got to check that. I'm not 100% sure. One of the best looking rookies of Peyton Manning. Can you imagine if Tom Brady had rookies that look like that? It's a shame that he didn't get them because he was a late draft pick. Huge quad autograph here. Huge Brady here. It was just last month at the premiere that we saw a huge Brady sell, a huge gold Brady sell. 2004 LeBron James, the Derek Jeter in a PSA 6. Very interesting on this card. This is a card that is one of Derek Jeter's real most recognizable and important iconic type cards. But you're usually going to get it in higher grade than this, which means you might get a deal. Might be the lowest chance you get on that card in a long time. Let's look at page 2. I'm going to go through page 2 a little bit quicker, maybe highlight just 2 or 3 cards, and then we got to keep moving because I'm, as usual, taking way more time than I'm supposed to. We're going to highlight this Jordan. We're going to highlight this Steph. We're going to highlight, I already highlighted that duel up above. Shaq O'Neal credentials. Big Griffey Jr., big 9.5 on this Jordan right here. A 1-of-1 Kobe from the second year of Flawless. Ooh, I got to hit this dual shield. Holy smokes. Oh, this Dwayne Wade. I got to hit that card. My goodness, this Kobe Bryant. Crazy cool Victor Wembanyama too. Let's just do one more page. Let's just do one more page. I think this is where I discovered last time I was recording that I had myself on mute. I think these at this point I'm seeing cards that I hadn't seen the first go around. I'm definitely highlighting too many cards. Sorry guys. There's just so much awesome stuff to look at here. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna stop there and just go through these. We're just gonna go through these cards. Okay. So already talked about this one, but this one might be a top 5 this week. That's why I had to highlight that. And same thing. Let's get out of Fanatics now. So now this Brady, if I'm not mistaken, there's a couple of these that have been graded authentic because there's a crease on them. And I want to see if this is that one that has a crease. I think that, I mean, obviously that matters. I may not be like a condition snob, but I think if there's anything major going on, you want to know it. Well, right now it really is not trying to work with me. The other one that had a crease, you could see it from the back. 86 out of 100. A little bit of rough edges over here. Shows a little bit on the black, but like the back to me is not bad enough that I'm sort of surprised to see it in an authentic holder from the back, and I don't see any crease on this one. This one looks good to me. So let's look at the front. I mean, obviously wear on the corners and on the edges. But like, I think this is a great looking card. I don't really understand. It's a condition sensitive card. I don't really understand why it's in an authentic holder. Oh, altered card. Authentic altered. Authentic autograph. I wonder what's altered. Do you guys think it's trimmed? It's interesting because if it was trimmed, wouldn't you expect it to have like that edge over there doesn't look trimmed. This doesn't look trimmed. This, I guess it could be trimmed. None of the 4 edges stand out to me as like, oh, that looks like a trimmed card. Is there some recoloring going on maybe? I don't think so. Did somebody touch up the autograph maybe? I am not an expert at this part of the hobby, for whatever it's worth. I am not. I do not have how to tell. But if you guys can tell me what you think is altered on this card, I would be really interested to hear it. I'd be way interested to hear it. Why do you think this card has been marked as altered? Let me know in the comments. Okay. Jordan autographed star. Oh, yeah, I love this. This is like the ideal card to me. So both Jordan's 86 Fleer and his star, the autograph can get a little bit lost. Even more so on the 86 Fleer than this, though. It can get lost in the background. There's so much of the background that's, this fortunately has a couple of white guys' arms coming in here in this white jersey that helps you to see the autographs a little bit better when they're signed on the front. On this card, I'd probably prefer to have it on the front. On the 86 Fleer, I've always said I'd rather have it on the back, which I know that the community doesn't agree with, but that's what's great about our hobby is that we don't have to agree on things. This signature is really old. It's in pen, and that is very, very cool. I mean, it's so cool. Oh, it's so cool. That's one of my 5 favorite cards of the week, but I'm not going to include it on my list because that is not going to be a great image on a thumbnail. But yeah, I love that piece. I might not use it for a thumbnail though. So let me put it over here. I might end up taking that. So this is an acquire card, and I saw them put out a story, and then I confirmed it. It's super interesting. So 2016 Colossal National Treasures, the Logo Man, number 2 out of 2. The other one, the 1 out of 2, it's the Laundry Tag Logo Man, which is not nearly as cool as this. So, the story is obviously like this says 2 out of 2. Most people don't think of that other one as a Logo Man. It is a great card, that other one. It is a great card that I wish I had in my collection. I would love to have that card in my collection. It's nowhere near as good a card as this is. And so to me, that's the story there. This one, another Kobe. This is from the 2007 Exquisite Exclusives box. So 24 boxes were made where Kobe signed on the box. Kobe signed 2 cards that were inside the box, and then there was another card that was a jersey card, and it's like a Kobe Exclusives box. This was the best card inside the box every time, and you get all 4 from his jersey uniform, 4 colors from his jersey uniform. It's really a lovely, lovely piece, and the fact that it's a 9.5 is a big deal too. Yeah, this is going to be one of the surprises of the auction. So Intimidation Nation is one of the underrated Jordan inserts. There's 11 of these. Is it really 11? Man. Does this hit 6 figures? I know that sounds crazy. There probably has been a recent sell that's making me sound like an idiot, but I don't know. I don't really get the PSA 10 crowd. That's not my deal. I think I have 1 PSA 10 card in my collection. I don't understand why people collect cards mainly just based on conditional rarity. But the thing that's different here is this is straight up just a rare card as it is. So let me just give you guys a little bit of perspective here. So I'm just going to PSA and looking at the cert. And what I want to do is just type in this number, which is 507. Oh, it's not loading. There we go. 507 77442. And if we look at the cert here, we will see, let me drag this over and show you guys this. We'll see Pop 11, obviously none higher. And then when we click on it, I mean, how many are total are graded? Is it like 150? It's not going to be a big number. It's 96 copies, guys. There are 96 of this card ever graded. Isn't it crazy? Kobe's got more graded than Jordan. You never see that. Well, you see that here for whatever reason. I wonder if Jordan was like short printed. Jordan's always the highest graded. I mean, always. Not in this case, though. And it's not far off, but it's not that close either. 96 to 107. Kind of surprised at that. So let me put this back over here and get out of this. So I think this is a huge card. A huge card. We'll see what it sells for. Also a huge card, the PSA 10 of the 87 sticker. Look at the gem rate on this. It is hilarious. It's one of the hardest gems ever. The Jerry Rice, I wanted to see, I couldn't remember if this is the checklist. It's just such a good image on the card. No, it's the regular card. You can see the 50 out of 50 on the back and the holofoil serial number there. Look at the 360 and watch the nebula pattern move. It's a beautiful piece. Okay, and now a card that I'm actually going to create some content on when I'm done recording this video today. So Kobe's on the front, Jordan's on the back. Jordan's autograph's easy to see, 1 out of 8. Kobe's autograph's harder to see. That's probably the one knock on this card. We'll scroll in so you guys can see it. But this is like a deep foil card. My guess is that if you have this in hand, you're going to see it right off a lot easier because the card does not appear this dark in hand. I like how they show us the dark images because it shows us imperfections and things that sort of you don't see as easily when it's a lighter image. I like the style here of how they've shown us the card, but in hand, I think you'll see the autograph a lot easier. The other thing that I want to look at is what did they grade the autograph? Yeah, the autograph's graded a 10. So both Jordan and Kobe stay on card. Like I said, 1 of 8. The thing that I need to figure out when I do my content on this is how many Jordan Kobe autographs had been made before this one. See, this card is from 2000 UD Reserve. So UD Reserve made a buyback set, including Kobe and Jordan. Very cool. How many duels were there before this? And I don't know the answer to that. I know my friend Kiki knows. He was asking me about it once upon a time, and I think he figured it out. But that's for certain one of my 5 favorite cards of the week. That'll make the list for sure. We've already talked about this one. I wanted to point this one out because I think Ultimate Collection gets lost as like one of the greatest sets. 2000 Ultimate Collection is one of the greatest sets in terms of how it changed the game. I asked Nat about this, and you'll see this on full episode of the 25 and 25 that I'm going to put out here in the next couple of weeks. I asked Nat what he thought about 2000 Ultimate, and I just sort of said it really quickly, and he said, yeah, 2000 Ultimate was really influential, but like then 2003 Exquisite just blew it out of the water. I think he's obviously right. He obviously knows what he's talking about, and he's clearly right about that. But I don't think people give 2000 Ultimate the sun that it should get. Like I was there for this, and when it came out, it just changed everything. We were so shocked at $100 per pack, at $100 per pack product. They made a few Michael Jordan autographs. They made a version to 25. They might have made a version to 200 or something even. But then they made a few versions to 1. And then there's his autograph patch, that's just to 23, and that's his first stamped serial number patch autograph. It's interesting. I always talk about that because I know that set really well. I love that part of the set. I have the Jordan of that. But what I don't know, and this is an interesting research project for anybody, please put something in the comments if you know about this. What I don't know is how many Jordan autographs, and I'm strictly talking about autos right now. I'm not talking about auto patches. How many autographs before this one were stamped serial numbered? I really like stamped serial numbers because whenever you have handwritten stuff, replacement copies can end up also in the circulation. And so a card numbered to 23 might really be like 25 of them. I know that's not a huge deal, but for me, it sort of matters. I like the serial numbered aspect of it. Look, this card numbered to 25 is as rare as like almost any Michael Jordan inserts or parallels from his playing days ever were. This is not from his playing days. This is after he'd retired from the Bulls for the second time. But no, I love that piece, and I love the Jordan autograph on there. You sort of wonder if they should have graded the autograph, whether the autograph could have been a 10. I'm not going to zoom in though. We got to keep moving. Steph PSA 10. Why am I looking at just a plain Jane Steph Curry PSA 10 card? Well, let's see. Did they say in here? They didn't. Darn. Well, on the, do I have PSA open? I'm not going to go look it up. I think it's like 60. I looked it up the other day. It's like 61 of these that are in a PSA 10 holder. And, compare that to any other Topps Chrome rookie card ever. He just didn't have a lot of these cards made, guys. 2009 Topps is a really interesting story that I've talked about in the past. And if you watch the show, you've heard me talk about it very recently, so I don't want to go over all those things again. The only thing about this card that's not absolutely incredible is the case it's in. I just can't stand it when these cases end up being so much bigger than they feel like they need to be. And it was graded recently, which tells me it probably just needs to be in this case, which is just a bummer. It must be like crazy thick, but it's just too bad because aesthetically it's not ideal. What I will tell you as somebody who's seen a couple of these cards in hand is these are phenomenal. This is all holofoil throughout or around the window. The autographs are not quite as dark as you'd like them to be, but the card itself is just glorious. I mean, just a wonderful card. They also made quad shields that year. That's why I turned around and looked at the back. I'll bet they didn't grade the autograph, did they? They did. So this autograph is graded a 10, even though it was graded really recently. And to me, it looks like it's a little faded. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm crazy. Tell me if you think I'm crazy on there. The reason I had to look at this Dwayne Wade, so first off, 2015 Immaculate, along with the years just before it and after it, some of the nicest Logoman cards that you will ever see. The autograph on here, I can't remember the last time I saw a Wade autograph Logoman. I can't remember it. You just don't see them very often. The card is numbered. It's numbered 1 out of 1. The classic Immaculate holofoil around the window. I think this card's going to surprise some people on Thursday, and this will be one of my 5 favorites of the week. I think it will. We're getting so many at this point that I'm going to have a tough time, so I shouldn't say it will. Okay, I got to give you guys some background on this Kobe Bryant. So if you're not looking carefully, you might look at this and think, oh, it's just a really nice, cool parallel from the 90s. No, it's more than that. It's also an autograph. So this has long been one of my favorite cards of Kobe that I've wanted personally to be able to get for my collection. And you will understand why as I talk through it, I promise, because this is just an awesome piece. So Kobe Bryant in 1996 comes into the NBA, and he signs that year for Press Pass and for Scoreboard. And then the next year he signs for Topps, but the only cards that he signs for Topps in his second year in the league were some co-signers cards. I was talking about those earlier on the show. His third year, 1998-99, he signs for 2 sets, Topps, basic Topps, and Bowman's Best. The basic Topps cards are fraught with issues at this point because at some point, some replacement copies got out, through a back door or whatever. And there are these like cards that have like fake autographs now, and some of the authentication companies have authenticated them as real because the card itself is legit and real, but Kobe's autograph is just terrible on most of those. And you can sort of tell if you have an eye for that sort of thing. That same year, when Bowman's Best comes out, there's 3 different versions of the card. So there are 3 different versions of this Bowman's Best Kobe Bryant autograph. And they're the very first ultra high-end Kobe Bryant autographs that have ever been made. They're actually just the second year of NBA licensed Kobe Bryant autographs because he didn't have them from his rookie year. You've got the Bowman's Best regular, you've got the base, you've got the base card, you've got the regular refractor, and you have the atomic refractor. And I'm going to break it down super easily. The atomic is so much rarer than either of the other ones. The refractor is so much rarer than the regular one. The refractor, just the basic refractor, is the one that the autograph shows up the best on. I've always loved that about that card. But the card that's just impossible to find, it's like really a grail Kobe autograph, is this one that you're looking at. We didn't see one move in years. And then finally, when we did, it was such a big deal. And then we saw a couple of others move. My guess, it's those same couple of copies that we've seen move a few times. Definitely look at the historical sales. My guess is that this specific copy is probably moved in the past. I just think it's really neat because Kobe autographs are some of the most popular things in the whole market. And this is like the first ultra high end one. Nobody knows exactly how many of them were printed. At least I don't think we do. But I've heard speculations that it's probably around 15. And that number sounds pretty right to me. 2012 Prism complete set in a PSA 10 in PSA 10 grade. The story here is, of course, the PSA 10 grade. That is ridiculously tough to put that together. 300 cards, even just to grade 300 cards at this point, would be super duper costly and a huge percentage of what this bid is at right here. A lot of people, including me, feel like 2012 Prism is one of the greatest basketball sets ever made. And so seeing them all in PSA 10, if you're a grade guy, I think it's very cool. All right. And this Michael Jordan credentials from 2006, number to 77. Awesome piece. And you got to love those credentials where the card has like the see-through bit on it. Okay, we're going to get out of that. And we're going to get out. We got to put the Kobe over here. Maybe it's a top 5. And that is what we're going to hit total for Fanatics Premier. We're going to stop there. Again, join me and Jeremy on Thursday. We will go through all of the cards that we can in detail. And I'll try to be a little bit faster so that we can get through all of them. Okay, let's now hit alt. You guys doing okay? How do you like this view here where you can see the things that are coming up? Is it good? Is it not good? I'd love any feedback on that. We obviously lose a lot of the screen. So if you're losing too much, let me know. I'm still just working these kinks out, trying to figure things out, guys. I'm pretty certain this is my old copy of this card. I think it is. Numbered 53 of 75. I think I owned 3 of these. But one of them I owned very early on and then had to sell it when I bought my house. I think it was this copy. It did this same bend and the autograph looked the same, but I don't have an old picture of it, so I don't know for sure. One of the most recognizable Kobe Bryant autograph patch cards of all time. Maybe the autograph patch set of all time. What do you think? The autograph jumbo patch set? There's 75, so it's not the rarest card. There are those that have altered patches that sort of ruin it for everybody. I prefer the next year, but it is a huge card, guys, and it's good to see it. Then you've got a dual logo man of Giannis and Lillard. Wow, they're autographed. Dual autograph logo man out of Immaculate. They only make a few dual logo man autos a year out of Immaculate, and they are phenomenal. I have a child who's currently screaming in the other room at her sibling, so hopefully you can not hear that. But if you can, I apologize. A Joe Burrow Gold Prism rookie card, a Kobe Bryant Flawless autograph dual patch. Man, these have just taken off. 43 grand. LeBron James, the chosen one. This is one of my favorite LeBron James rookie cards. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the chosen one in quotation marks. LeBron Black Gold. Steph PSA 8 at 24 grand. What would you rather have? A Steph PSA 8 of the refractor or a PSA 10 of the base? Now, usually I would say, got to go with the refractor. Refractor is so much rarer. In 2009, the refractor is only twice as rare. Now, that's still a big deal, and it's way better aesthetically. But I think you could make the case that you'd rather have a PSA 10 base over this. I don't think that the hobby agrees with that. I think you can make that case. I think. Let me know what you think about that. Here's a card that's going to compete for a top 5 spot for me. This is the Jaylen Brown Immaculate Logo Men RPA. I think that's the parallel of the rookie card. That's one of the best Jaylen Brown cards in existence. Not bad for a past finals MVP, guys. Bunch of football stuff. A Jokic. This is the silver out of 25. That's a huge piece. I accidentally clicked something there. I didn't mean to. A Steph. Oh, Steph Gold Prism. Always a huge deal to see one of those hit auction. And Wemby Flawless Game Used RPA. Peyton Manning Masterpiece that's been signed. Wow, that's cool. Kobe Bryant Gold Finest Refractor out of 39. Lots of awesome stuff. Oh, I love this Kobe, the black refractor. Some great stuff up at alt. The Jaylen Brown number 138. Yeah, this card just has one problem with it. It doesn't have the rookie. I don't think it has the rookie logo. And that's a bummer because it's a rookie card. 2016. 2016 is Jaylen's rookie year, right? I'm not going crazy, right? Yeah, player worn 2016. Yeah, this is a rookie card, guys. And that is a really cool Jaylen Brown piece. Yeah, that might be a top 5 card of the week for me right there. One certainly to look at. Okay, we're going to call it for alt. Let's look at Golden. So at the Golden Weekly, we are currently sorted by highest first. And I think we're on page 1, right? Yeah. Sorry, I got a little confused there for a second. So we first have Mbappe, the autographed Immaculate Nike patch. The Messi in a 6 is second. Think about how much love that card has gotten, where a 6 is second overall right now at Golden. Shohei Ohtani, National Treasures, rookie patch autograph. The TakeIt2.net MJ, Jackie Robinson cut signature. See if anything else really stands out here in the next minute or two at the Golden Weekly. The Katie Gold Chrome Refractor, number to 50, 2008. Just hits different, guys. So nice. Another 2008 Topps card here. Wow. Here's a card. So she has been at the top of every list forever, it feels like, for the last couple of months. But this Caitlin Clark card is easily the most interesting card I've seen so far at the Golden Weekly, and it's just sitting lower. Like, I'd rather have that than any of this stuff up here. I would much rather have that card than any other card we've seen so far. The Prism Black Gold PSA 9. It's a huge card. It's sitting at 1678. I wonder if there's some Caitlin, what's it called? I wonder if people are just sort of tiring of seeing Caitlin all over the place. Let's look at one more page, see if anything else at Golden really stands out at us. Ooh, what's this Kobe number 2? Number to 100. Autographed jersey from 2001. It's very cool. A Prodigy Refractor in PSA 10 grade. I don't know if I've ever even seen one of those before. The A Cut Above of Jordan is obviously a big piece. I love this card. The bordered refractor. This is the one that actually did come out of the pack. Dual autograph here of Shohei and the great Ben Simmons. Oh. Mickey Mantle, 53 Bowman color. What is this uncut sheet? Oh, it's not an uncut sheet. It's just a group of 37 Sandy Koufax 1963 cards. How cool is that? And then a 1927 Ty Cobb. Okay, let's go to the Fanatics Weekly. We're going to spend just a second here, guys. I had to show you guys this card, though. This is a card that is really interesting for a couple of different reasons. Let me scroll down here and see if there's anything else that I want to hit before scrolling back up. Let's look at that Duncan. I love this LeBron. Always love that card. And then let's sort by highest first. And we'll just do one page on the highest first. So really interesting couple of cards here right at the beginning. BGS 9 on the Brady. You're looking at one of the highest graded copies of this card in existence. $30,000 is what that one's at. It has a 10 autograph as well. Really a special Michael Jordan, LeBron James card here. The exquisite dual patch autograph, but you can see that those autographs absolutely have been touched too much light. We're going to look at those really closely here in a second. A huge Kobe card that we've seen just grow immeasurably from 2018. This is the regular card in a PSA 10, the regular version, not the gold. The regular is at $18,000 in PSA 10 grade. Unreal. We'll see what it sells for. Dual patches here from Trilogy. Not a lot of patch autos out of Trilogy that ever came out. This is absolutely one of the best ones. Let's look at that one. I'm not sure if that one's on card or on sticker. I think it might be on sticker. But I don't know. I don't know if Trilogy wasn't really a sticker product. I'll tell you what was not a sticker product ever. Was exquisite, except for like 2 cards, and this is one of them. This Kevin Durant, if you look closely, is on a sticker, which is way too bad, except for this. It makes one of the cards in the set that would have been exceptionally expensive, not nearly as expensive. For Kevin Durant, if you want an autographed Oklahoma City patch, this is one of the best ones. Even if it's on a sticker, it really is, because it's from that exquisite set. The limited logo set this year is one of the best looking sets ever. It's fantastic. This Duncan, I want to just point out the color that's going on. 97 is really tough, but it is a PSA 10. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. And if so both, it says game used on both. We already knew that. But I just wanted to look at those autographs. Oh yeah, the reason I wanted to look at the back is I wanted to see if it was if it had an autograph grade. Of course, it does not. Look at the quality of the autographs. They've definitely seen too much sun, but that is a exquisite dual patch, and it is just at the weekly. It may be your chance to get a card like that you'd never have otherwise. And are these on sticker or are these on card? What are the odds that this is from the exact same collection as that card we just looked at? I would say very high. Unfortunately, somebody just left their cards out in the light too long, guys. Because man, oh man, they didn't know it, but they cost themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars just on these two cards. They might have cost themselves six figures on card. Beautiful. Those autographs have been in the light too long, though. And finally, we're gonna hit Card Hobby. We made it to the end of our agenda. Huge Steph Curry autograph patch. We've got an Eminence Messi, a Steph redemption card, another Steph autograph. Ooh, that one looks way cool. Man, Steph autographs just strewn throughout the top 8. In the top 8, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Steph Curry autographs. Unbelievable. Luka next day autograph. James Harden Logo Man. We're going to see a lot of Logo Man and a lot of patches and stuff go out there real quick from Panini here over the next little bit. Might provide some good buying opportunities. One of the best Vince Carter autographs you've ever seen. A nice Logo Man tag of Dirk. I've always loved this Kobe card right here. It's an SGC holder, the USA flag. I used to have a Durant of that card, and I just thought it was way nicer than other people really realized. Held on to it for a long time. Kobe from the first year of Immaculate. That's a sneaky card. Numbered out, I think it's numbered out of 100. Let's look at one more page. One more quick page on Card Hobby. The swoosh. Ooh, a Rasheed Wallace PMG champ. You don't see a lot of that sort of stuff on Card Hobby. Card Hobby has the best selection of autographs and autograph patches on a week-to-week basis that you could ever really imagine. But stuff like this you don't see very often. That's a cool card. Some of these types of cards can sell for deals on Card Hobby too. And then this Kobe Bryant autograph from the third year of Immaculate. Yeah, as always, there's some great stuff up at Card Hobby. Okay, guys, let's do the top 5 right now. We'll do it quick. Let's look at our competitors. We have the treasure tags of Kobe Bryant. We have the dual autograph of Kobe and Jordan. We have the Jaylen Brown Logoman RPA out of Immaculate. The Kobe, man, a lot of Kobe this week, and I think all basketball. Sorry, guys. Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor. Intimidation Nation Jordan. That Dwayne Wade Logoman auto. The autograph of Michael Jordan that I love so much. And the Tim Duncan green. Oh, we also have this dual Logoman. The Jordan PSA 10 refractor. The Luka Gold. So we've got like 10 cards to choose from, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've got to cut 6. Well, if I have to cut 6, let's see. I can't do all Kobe. That one's got a chance. That one's got a chance. But then I have to sort of three Kobe's that have a chance. I'm going to have to cut any other Kobe's that we have. They don't have any other ones. Okay, so maybe, gosh, this is always so hard to figure out which ones to cut. Okay, we know we're not going to include this one because it has no chance at the thumbnail. I want to see, when in doubt, I always choose rarity. I'd like to see the Luka. I love this card too, especially but we've seen so many Logo Men, dual Logo Men lately. I'm going to probably get rid of that one. The Duncan, the Wade, the Intimidation Nation, the Bowman's Best. Let's get out of this so I can see it from a normal view at least. I'm not going to include the Jaylen just because there's been so many Logo Men recently. I've already highlighted that, so I'm going to take that off my list. I haven't highlighted this one yet, but I'm going to. So we've got 2 Kobe's, the Jordan, the Wade. I know we've already done the Logo Man, but I just really like this Dwayne Wade a lot. Like, I've seen very few Dwayne Wade cards in my life I like as much as this card. I really like it a lot. Although his leg is getting cut off by his autograph. If you look at that real close. I love this Dwayne Wade. Okay, so my 5 favorites are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I gotta cut one. Okay, I'm gonna cut the Luca. I'm gonna cut the Luca because it's only got 3 hours till it ends. That's a cop out, I know, guys. At number 5 this week on my list of most interesting stories for this week at auction, my number 5 is going to be the. Well, these are some good ones. My number 5 is going to be the Duncan. We saw it move a couple of years ago, and in terms of this type of card that's actually not that long, it is still possibly his best card in existence, though, and it is an amazing story. The next most interesting, or at least the number 4 most interesting, is the Kobe Bryant Atomic Refractor. It might be the card in this group that I would be most likely to buy, but maybe it's been a couple years since we've seen it, or like a year since we've seen it sell. Kobe stuff has been on fire. Whenever stuff is on fire, people send stuff to auction. It might bring some Kobe stuff down. This is one of the really interesting cards of the history of Kobe's career. It's one of the more interesting ones. And so very interested to see how it does. Number 3 to me is going to be this Dwayne Wade Logoman autograph. I don't know what the highest Dwayne Wade card ever to sell is. He has an exquisite RPA to 3, and he has some other gold chrome refractors and stuff that have sold really high. There's very few cards like this of Dwayne Wade, though. I think this will give Dwayne Wade cards a moment. Maybe it'll stall out and sell for 25 grand or something stupid, but I don't think so. I think it'll do a big number, but maybe I'm wrong. And as I'm talking, the Kobe Bryant Atomic Refractor just got a bid, which is crazy because no one could possibly be listening to me right now. And then the number 2 card of the week, I'm going to give to the Intimidation Nation. Grading scarcity, but it is truly scarce. And the number 1 card of the week, after just seeing the Kobe Jordan dual logo man sell for what it did, we have one of the very first dual autographs of these two ever. And I think it's going to sell amazingly well. Guys, I am glad to have you guys watch me today. I wanted to show you I'm getting super fancy. Look at that. Like and subscribe. I really do appreciate each of you guys who have watched each of these episodes, watched several of these episodes. Appreciate those of you out there who continue to give me really positive feedback. Sorry for the technical difficulties today, and especially for MC Sports Cards, because their stuff ends tonight. It ends in a few hours. So there's a chance that if you're listening to this, even if it just came out, that these cards, the MC, were about to end. So definitely go give them a look. So please continue to watch. Thank you. I hope you're all doing well. And until next time, happy collecting.